I'm Ethan, and I've been married to Jessica for 8 years. Lately, things have been colder than a Chicago January. She's demanding, constantly criticizing, and always busy. Her phone is glued to her hand, locked down like Fort Knox, and her hours at the marketing firm have been ridiculous. 10 p.m. finishes were the new normal. I tried to talk to her last week. I asked why she was so distant, suggesting maybe we could go to counseling. She just laughed a dry, horrible laugh and told me I was being emotionally needy and needed to find a hobby that wasn't her. She's been a nightmare for months, lying about where she is, why she's late, and who she's talking to. She'd look me right in the eye and say, I was stuck in traffic, obviously, even when the traffic app showed clear roads. The whole house was walking on eggshells around her, and I felt like a ghost. This afternoon, she came home for a quick lunch break, something she rarely does. She was rushing around, saying she had a huge, unexpected pitch meeting at 2 p.m. across town. She set her phone down on the granite counter while arguing with me about why the dishwasher wasn't run yet. I reached across to grab my coffee mug and, in a flash, my elbow clipped her phone. It hit the floor with a sickening crack. The screen shattered. She lost it. I mean, shrieking, yelling, calling me an idiot, and demanding I immediately drive to the Apple store and replace it with the newest, most expensive model. While she was halfway through a rant about my incompetence, I bent down to pick up a shard and saw the lock screen momentarily flicker. A notification popped up, a text preview from someone simply named Michael. The text read, "Can't wait for our lunch. Pitch later, babe. Think we can squeeze in another quick sex session before your 2 p.m.? The air went dead silent. Jessica stopped mid-sentence. Her eyes went wide, and she grabbed the phone, stuffing it in her pocket. I looked at her, and I felt this sudden, icy calm. Jessica, who is Michael? She instantly went into defense mode. No shame, just pure, cold malice. He's my new client. Are you seriously going to snoop on me after you broke my property? That text is about a new pitch meeting, you paranoid creep. We are pitching a new campaign called Quick Sessions, and babe is just a typo from my dictation. She just stood there, brazenly lying about the word sex being part of a marketing campaign title. I tried to argue, but she just grabbed her purse and keys. I don't have time for this drama, Ethan. I have to go to work. We'll discuss your jealousy problem later. Get the phone replaced. She slammed the front door so hard the pictures on the wall tilted. I was shaking. I sat down and realized I had to know for sure. I remembered we have a family tablet, and on that tablet we share location data for safety, or so I thought. She never checks the tablet. I opened it and went to the Find My Car app. She said her meeting was across town. The GPS showed her car parked 40 miles away in the lot of the Starlight Motel. It's one of those cheap, hourly places. My stomach dropped through the floor. I got in my car and drove fast. I was seeing red. The whole ride felt like a nightmare. I pulled into the Starlight Motel lot. Her Lexus was right there. I found the room, and I didn't knock. I just kicked the door open. It splintered right off the frame. Jessica was there, tangled in the sheets with a guy I instantly recognized. Michael, her actual boss from a few years ago. They both screamed. Michael scrambled, trying to cover himself. Jessica, however, instantly started yelling at me. How dare you? This is harassment, Ethan. This is why I can't be around you. You're stalking me. I just stood there, watching her, listening to her, fully aware that even caught in flagrante, her first response was to lie and blame me. I held up the tablet with the GPS and the shattered phone screen. It's over, Jessica. I want a divorce. This is the wildest part. She stopped screaming, smiled this horrible, twisted smile, and beat me to the punch. Good, because I want the divorce. The sex with you was boring. You stopped paying attention to me years ago. And honestly, Michael is just better in every way. You're pathetic. I didn't say another word. I just turned around stepped over the broken door, and walked out. I drove home. She's not here yet. The car is still gone. The house feels huge and cold, but somehow lighter. The house has gone from a hurricane to a mausoleum in 20 minutes. The silence is crushing. I stand in the living room, surrounded by the physical evidence of the explosion, the ripped-off office door jamb, the dust motes dancing in the yellow porch light, and the shimmering carpet of shredded paper. It looks like a wedding reception exploded. Only the confetti is our life. I grab a heavy-duty contractor bag and start sweeping up the papers. As I'm doing this, my hand brushes the shattered frame of the office door. I realize the police didn't ask about the door I kicked in at the motel. They were focused on the here and now. The motel door is still hanging off its hinges 40 miles away. I make a mental note. Add, replace motel door to divorce to-do list. My heart is still racing, but the adrenaline is replaced by a surgical focus. I sit down and make 2 phone calls, back to back. First, I call the local police non-emergency line and ask how to get a copy of the emergency vacate order and the police report from the officer who just left. I want every single piece of paper they touched. Second, I call the bank's 24-hour fraud line. I report the unauthorized $40,000 withdrawal immediately, giving them a detailed statement that includes the timeline and the fact that Jessica admitted to giving the money to Michael, the former boss. I freeze the entire account and open a new, completely separate account in my name only, transferring the remaining few $100. The phone agent assures me they will launch a full investigation into the fraud. It's a small victory, but securing the financial perimeter feels like finally drawing a line in the sand. I look at the Ziploc bag containing the broken phone with the damning text still slightly visible. The entire nightmare, the affair, the theft, the rage, the police, all happened because I dropped a phone. Now, I have to figure out how to rebuild an entire life from confetti and duct tape. The second the lawyer's office opened, I was on the line with the attorney I spoke to briefly last night. I took the earliest appointment possible, 8:30 a.m. Before I left, I followed the second most important piece of advice. I took hundreds of photographs and videos of everything. The splintered office door, the shredded paper pile, the dented front door frame, the pristine, but now secured, bank statement, and the Ziploc bag containing the broken phone with the damning text visible, the lawyer's office, turning the tables. The lawyer, who specialized in high-conflict, fraudulent divorces, was clinical and fast. When I presented the evidence, his expression went from professional calm to something approaching genuine concern. "Ethan," he said, tapping the emergency vacate order from the police report, "this is an excellent foundation. We have her documented, immediate destruction of property, a police report confirming she was escorted off the premises, and confirmed financial fraud. Your actions last night were decisive and saved you from a long, expensive fight." He immediately filed a petition for dissolution of marriage, citing fault grounds, adultery, and financial fraud, waste of marital assets. Critically, he also filed for a temporary restraining order to legally formalize the emergency vacate order and to prevent her from draining any remaining accounts, contacting me, or disposing of any assets, including the car she drove to the motel. Because I had the people, police report number, and the bank fraud report number, the judge signed the TRO and a temporary order for exclusive use of the marital residence that afternoon. I now have the legal right to stay in my home, and she cannot return without facing arrest. The $40,000 financial victory. The most immediate relief came from the bank. Because I called their fraud line right away, the investigation moved quickly. By the time I left the lawyer's office, the fraud agent called me. They had reviewed the transfer documents, saw the massive discrepancy, and noted the suspicious timing. They confirmed the transfer was flagged as unauthorized third-party fraud. The $40,000 has been provisionally credited back to my new account. This is a huge win. The lawyer stated this bank action is one of the strongest pieces of evidence against Jessica for the fraud and waste of marital assets claims in the divorce petition. Michael's massive European venture just turned into a police investigation. Aftermath. The silence and the future. I came home, replaced the office door, changed all the locks, again, and finally cleaned up the confetti storm. The house is silent, but it's no longer the mausoleum of her lies. It's just mine. The shock has worn off, replaced by exhaustion and a cold, quiet anger. The whole thing, the entire secret life, the theft, the cruel performance, all because I accidentally clipped a phone. I realize now that her anger wasn't about the broken phone or the ruined career. It was about the immediate, public exposure of her meticulously constructed, self-serving reality. I have filed for divorce. I have my home, and my money is safe. The path ahead is going to be messy, but it's clear. There's no ambiguity, no guilt, and no way for her to drag me through the mud. It is over.